I am going to count you in. 3, 2, 1.
Hey AfterBuzzers, we're here to talk series premiere of Lauren and Ben Happily Ever After. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello and welcome to our after show on the series premiere of Ben and Lauren Happily Ever After. Or is it?
Or is it? Huh?
There's that question mark that all leaves us wondering. Well, I'm your host, Ally Nasta. You can find me on Twitter at Ally Nasta. And we've got Sam Davidson. Where can they find you?
You guys can find me, Sam Davidson 43, Twitter and Instagram, and I am on the live chat. So please let us know your thoughts because I know we have a lot of them.
And then we have Renee Ariel. Where can they find you?
Hey guys, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel and on Snapchat at the Renee Ariel, and check out my blog catslipstickla.com. And I write about my life.
Well, that's so much fun. Well, getting into it right off the bat, we see a little bit of a reminisce on all the roses that Ben has given Lauren, which was really fun to see. And I forgot she was the first out the limo. Did you guys remember that?
No, I didn't. I forgot.
I did remember that because I just remember them bringing it up like on the season. Like she was like the first one out of the limo, and then she stuck around until the very last row. So I like remember that. But watching it all back, like it was really sweet.
It was. And we see them just jumping into their normal lives. And there's so many things that they've been trying to accomplish since after The Bachelor. How do you think so far, just as a whole, how do you think they're really adjusting to this?
It's hard, I think, put yourself in that situation, falling in love on a TV show and then them just like sending you off and being like, okay, now you do this on your own. It's like no one knows how to ride a bike, and then they just send them off on a bike without, a tricycle thing, and they're confused and they don't know what to do. So that's how I felt about their relationship.
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about like their relationship was really only in paradise per se. They'd go on all these like luxurious dates and they stayed in a mansion and everything was very over the top and beautiful, and now they're in real life actually having like a real relationship where they have to go grocery shopping, and now they have to deal with people now getting to judge their relationship and act like they kind of know who they are as people, and like then bring up all of the exes that he dated on the show.
Which we see happen with everybody at the grocery store asking them about Jojo.
I know.
Could you imagine being Lauren and have to constantly be compared or brought up about your fiance's ex?
That would personally make me feel like super insecure, especially how that season ended with him saying he loved both women. Like imagine him having like being still confused the very last minute if he's even going to pick you or this other girl. So then constantly being reminded of the fact that you were like one of two women he might have, like that feels like crappy.
It does feel crappy, but again, we need to be reminded. I have watched The Bachelor, I'm not even kidding, season 1, me and my mom.
Watch season 1.
That's amazing.
And then I skipped like 5 or 6 seasons in the middle. But no, I've watched the majority of all of the seasons of The Bachelor and Bachelorette. And what's important to remember is that like you sign up for something and it is this fairy tale. And I'm shocked at this point that this is the first show that's, reality show that's been post-Bachelor, Bachelorette, love and fandom.
Yeah, no, I'm really shocked by that too, that this is the first one. And it's really interesting because I never thought about how they were feeling after, about them basically choosing two people. I just thought, oh my gosh, they must be so happy. They're together.
Yeah.
But I never thought about what that can feel like, knowing that your fiance literally chose you against another person that they basically were on almost the same playing field, which Lauren didn't know that until the last minute when she found out, hey, I said I love you.
Yeah.
Which we see is an overarching theme of this entire episode.
And even like she didn't find that out until after the cameras were off, so we don't even know how that conversation went down. We don't know how she really reacted to that news. We get that from especially this episode that she was very upset, but we don't know like exactly how it went down.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. I mean, I think that Lauren might have come off in this episode as a bit controlling and insecure, but at the same time, she has absolutely every right to be. At the same time, this is what she signed up for if she would have won.
Yeah,
which she
I
did.
agree.
But I think also, too, I think you made a good point earlier. We were talking about how Ben should have given her some sort of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why hasn't he been like, no? Like, why should you not care about that? Don't you think that he should have brought that up?
But like men are sometimes a little dumb, and I feel like they don't know when to say the right things or even what those right things are to say. But like us watching this are like, well, like duh, you need to give her some validation. Like let her know that she's the one you picked. The show is over. Like, this is completely over. For crying out loud, Jojo is engaged to someone else now.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But I guess the feelings are still there because she hasn't gotten that closure on it.
Yeah.
But that kind of brings us to after the final rose for JoJo's ceremony.
AFR.
Yes, AFR, as they called it many times.
Oh my gosh, didn't know that was a nickname.
This is a thing.
Yeah, AFR.
Now we're all going to be calling it AFR.
We're going to be so cool now. Like, you guys watching AFR tonight?
We'll just be texting it to each other, be like, AFR. And they'll be like,
AFR?
absolutely. No one's even going to be watching, but we'll know that we're cool. We're cool.
Yeah.
We're cool.
We're cool now that we know the slang that
We
is
get it.
AFR after the final rose. So we see the producers call and ask them for this huge favor. If they will join the after AFR to be there to give JoJo some advice. Did you think that was fair of them to ask Lauren, considering the circumstances?
Yes. I say yes because, again, like, back to what Sam said, like, she signed up for this. She, like, yes, it's an awkward situation. But, the event that they're going to, AFR, is, again, JoJo is engaged. It's after the final rose. It's after she's found someone. She's fallen in love with someone. Like, for them to just go and watch, they're not saying, hey, JoJo didn't pick anyone. Would you mind, like, going there and giving her some hope? Like, that's not what it was.
Yeah.
It was just to show support. And probably to pimp out their show a little bit as well.
Oh, you know what? I will say, and I love, this is probably my favorite thing about watching the show. I loved that when we saw not the reenactment, like their side of the entire AFR situation. When I watched after the final rose with JoJo's season, I was like, wow, they look so uncomfortable and pissed at each other.
I thought the same thing.
I thought the same thing.
And she looked pissed. Lauren did.
And he looked uncomfortable.
He was just trying to appease her. I could tell they were in a fight. And now we got validation that they were. I mean, maybe they were just planting that within our heads the entire time, but it makes sense.
I agree with you because I remember feeling like Lauren looked a little bit, like, tense. Like, she looked very, like, uncomfortable.
Like a stiff board.
Yeah, and I was like, and then Ben kind of looked a little shaky, which, like, we've seen him obviously be on The Bachelor, like, not, like, physically shaky, but, like, his words, he didn't seem very confident in what he was saying, which now we understand because he was so nervous about what was happening. But I thought that, too, which I thought was weird because in my eyes, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're happily, like forgot about everything, and I thought in my eyes it would be something that would be more of like signs of affirmation. Okay, now that she's found love, like we can lay it to rest.
Yeah.
Did you guys feel that maybe her seeing JoJo with someone else could possibly like alleviate those feelings?
I think when they get lunch in the next episode, I think we'll definitely get a lot of those feelings. But I definitely saw just that side of Ben where he was really uncomfortable, and then like after he gave that like little spiel to JoJo and Jordan. He was like, "Did what I say? Was it okay? I was like, that was so, for me, I don't know, that was uncomfortable for me to watch and have, literally their conversation was just like, you didn't say anything. And she goes, I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, but you only said like, yeah. She's like, I said, yeah. That was back and forth for like a good few minutes there.
Well, what's interesting is that, probably before you pick your winner, you have to, obviously the Bachelor or Bachelorette wants to be in the limelight. There's no question about that. As much as down to earth as they are, they chose to be this in front of the limelight. So whomever they choose has to want to do that too. And I think that is either said behind, non-cameras, closed doors, or just is expected. But Lauren seems to have just thought that this was going to end. Yeah. When the show did, and everyone knows that's not the truth.
But did she? Because we're watching this on a reality show about them that they both signed up for.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, like, I mean, watching this show and having her be like, I don't want, like, to be here and be in front of people, whatever. But, like, we're watching this as viewers on your new reality show, which is, again, putting you in a bigger spotlight now.
Yeah.
You're under like a bigger microscope. I don't know. I feel like she does. I don't understand exactly what's kind of going on in her aside from, I guess, the insecurities. But I really don't get the whole, like, I don't want to be in the spotlight because you are on a TV show right now.
Yeah. Which kind of going back off of the whole spotlight thing, but seeing how she said moving to Denver was kind of felt like the right thing to do when she was with Emily and Haley. And then she saw the tabloid. That was kind of, I also couldn't understand. I think she kind of knew what she was getting into, but you can never really understand how big it's going to be and what people will say. I think that's something that it must be so hard to adjust from not having anybody ever talk about you to having people question your own relationship.
I know, especially with like Jojo.
Yeah.
Her season, I mean, people were tearing apart every contestant on her season, including Jordan. I remembered several headlines being like, Jordan's there for the wrong reasons, he doesn't really love her. And imagining when they're like in their honeymoon phase, just constantly seeing this over and over again.
See, I think the bigger issue, at least for a woman, is after it's over to say, are you still in love with the other one? People can say whatever crap bullshit they want to, but that they want to say about you. And you'll take that with a grain of salt. But when they're saying, oh, your fiance might still be in love with the woman that he turned down for you.
But that's like the same thing to me in the sense of like he could have been using her to help his career, for this money, for the brand, like for what comes with winning this show. As can be the same thing for like, oh, your person who you love could still be in love with someone else. Like it's still, you should know because you should trust them and you're in a relationship with them that they are in love with just you and they are there for the right reasons. But it's kind of the same because you don't know 100%.
You don't, but when it's compared to another woman, I think at least for a woman, that hurts so badly, and I get that about Lauren.
And we've seen it happen. Like there was multiple conversations throughout the episode where she just is very, hesitant about this whole Jojo thing, and she feels uncomfortable seeing her, which I can understand.
See, one of the things that I'm so glad about this show is that it's addressing that.
Yes.
Because they expect people to see these people get engaged, and then for the one they almost got engaged to just be best friends now. We're cool. We're totally cool. We're all cool.
Yeah.
You're not cool. That's not human nature.
No.
See, I completely agree with that because they're always like, oh my gosh, we're all best friends. We all date the same guy. LOL. But like but in this episode, even Lauren said, we are friends. We have a friendship. But to be honest, it doesn't really seem like they do.
I think it's one of those things where if they're in a group of people, you're going to obviously be friends because you were in this situation together. But like she said, I don't want to be with you and Jojo like in the same room because that is uncomfortable. Like that's just asking to put an elephant in the room. Like, okay, so we're all sitting here. What would you have to talk about?
I know. Well, like you rejected me.
What I think is fascinating, I would actually really want to know your guys' thoughts and the fans' thoughts that are in the chat or that are just watching later and commenting. When Jojo called Ben and asked for them to be on after the final AFR, I think that the appropriate way would have been to call Lauren.
Yeah.
And ask, right?
I totally agree. Because Lauren was kind of thrown off, like, why is she calling you? And he's like, I don't know. And that just kind of puts Ben in an awkward situation because it's like, are you guys in contact? Because the way that the phone call went it seems like everything was fine. But I guess maybe in JoJo's eyes, everything is fine. She's moving on. Like, she has found her new fiance.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I'm sure it was producers behind the scenes being like, call Ben. And maybe she was like, maybe I should call Lauren. And they're like, no. It'd be weird if you did that.
I definitely think it was a producer for that phone call. Just even the way it was set up with then the music coming in and out.
And like, I can't hear you.
Yeah, like that was a little, that scene for me was a little weird. The way it was done. It was much, and just like the way when the music came in and out, and then it just kind of jumped. It was just, I don't know, it was strange. And then they had her on speaker, but then he hung up, and then he was like, that was Jojo. As if,
she didn't know.
Like, she knows. That was on speaker. We heard it. She heard it. We know. So, yeah, it felt like a little unnatural, I would say.
Yeah.
That is my biggest qualm about this show is that I think that there's enough drama to go around that they don't really need to fake much.
Yeah.
But they are faking. I guess they're trying to do the day in the life, and these people are relatively normal, so they're trying to create some stuff, which is fine. But with that, like, I don't really think they needed to create anything. I think they just could have let, like, the animals fly. Just, like, let them, like, get in together and then, like, you know, kill each other. Who knows?
You know what I'm so happy they brought up in this first episode? So watching JoJo's season and hearing how many times she brought up Ben, everyone was talking about how many times she brought up Ben. So I love that they binge watched this show and then we're both like, would like awkwardly stare at each other or say something whenever she'd bring him up, because it was often. If you guys watched JoJo's season, she brought him up a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny because we didn't know they weren't watching it or what was happening, but I was like watching Lauren's face, and that is really uncomfortable to hear someone continuously talk about your fiance on national television. And it was just funny how they brought up the comment. She's like, man, how do you feel? She's like throwing you under the bus on national television, babe. So that was really cute. But switching gears to a more lighthearted situation, just their funny little jokes that they do to each other, just like the Oreo one.
That was so funny.
That was hilarious. His face was just like, he couldn't even like really finish chewing because it just needed to come out.
He looked so confused. Like he did not understand this.
And then he was like, almost be like, babe, sorry, I can't eat this. Like, she made it, but she did. She did make it, but it, you know, he didn't know it at the time. It was like, oh, you bought these Oreos and they're terrible. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that was. It was a really nice gesture. Like he tried to keep it. Yeah. He tried to just take it and swallow it. But, you know, just kind of talking like in their house and everything. You know, living together, they had to just kind of jump in and they had to figure out who was going to move to which house. And you know, Lauren kind of made some comments about how, you know, the house needs to be changed or whatever. But I think, how do you guys feel? I think that it makes sense that she wants to kind of make it her own, you know?
Yeah, it makes sense. It just, I will say, how long have they been living together? Like 10 months at this point?
Right now, like to today?
No, like when the show.
Oh no, a few months.
Oh, this was like right, like a little bit after.
I think so, because they did the after the final rose.
Yeah.
And JoJo's season, you know, it's only a couple months.
So like a couple months.
Yeah.
Maybe like
3-4 months?
Yeah, like not even 6 months, I think.
Okay. For some reason, I don't know why I thought it was 10 months. It's 10 months today. Why
yeah,
did I think it was
they
10
said
months?
something. Well, it was their year anniversary of meeting.
Yeah.
So that would probably mean 10 months, because then 2 months till he proposed to her.
Okay, so they've been together for 10 months, probably lived together for like 8.
Well, no, because the first couple months were of them being in hiding.
Right.
So they couldn't live together.
True.
And so
Okay.
she was still in LA and he was still in Colorado, and then they would see each other like randomly. So that was probably how many months was it?
When they're shooting?
Yeah. It was,
Like 2
I would say
months,
about
3
2.
months?
3
Yeah.
months tops, yeah.
But and I guess for the purpose of the show, just like now is the time to start
Yeah.
like the decorating. But if they've only lived together a couple months, that made more sense. At the time, I was like 10 months, and they're bringing up decorating now.
Yeah.
Like now you want to switch things up. I will say I love that his headboard is his garage door.
that was so,
What?
that was so great. And he was like, I'm so proud of it.
I know. It's like even when you're saying that just sounds awesome.
I was thinking maybe
So
you could
cute.
save it in the garage for your child, and then you could do some real cool stuff on it. Then when you have a baby, and you can put him, and once he finally, you know, graduates to a bed,
Yeah.
you could put him in that. But there were a lot of the show I thought Lauren was being like a bit crazy and, you know, high maintenance. But with that part, I was like, duh, yeah, get rid of that shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Like,
crazy.
get a brand new bed.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, I do think that I don't know if it's just the way it was. I'm sure it is the way it was edited. They did make her look a bit controlling. I hate to say that. Just, I feel like every single time we saw Lauren in this episode, I'm sure it'll change over the season. It just seemed like she was upset about something consistently. And so there are things that I would relate to personally, like, oh yeah, don't keep that garage headboard. I want something cute, and I don't like that couch. Like, I get that, and that's like silly and fun. But because of the way they depicted her just for the rest of the episode, I don't know. I don't know why they're just making her look like very insecure and controlling constantly.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because they're trying to lead up to the episodes where they're going to be doing DIY projects and like fixing up their house. Because I feel like that's a lot of the things we heard out in their previews. Like, oh, it's us like fixing our house and buying furniture. Like that was kind of a theme that they wanted to to kind of overlay. So I think maybe they didn't mean to make it look that way.
Yeah.
Because they were leading up to it, but it did kind of come off in an uncomfortable vibe.
Yeah.
Well, what made me a bit uncomfortable is that, you know, it's 2016. You guys, like, women have jobs, and obviously Lauren had a job. She was a flight attendant. We haven't heard anything about that. We saw Ben in his cubicle.
Yeah.
I saw Ben in his cubicle.
Which, I mean, I'm
his
like...
one work friend.
Yeah.
And that was a great
To me, that was so... I don't even think that's where Ben works. Like, that
felt very like The Office. Like, it just felt like a scene from The Office.
that's
Like a
the
dark
thing.
office.
Like, the stuff that relates to The Bachelor and Bachelorette, I thought was real.
Yeah.
But the other stuff, I thought that they literally faked it all. And I don't like that we didn't get to hear anything about Lauren being like, well, I haven't done a flight in a while. You know, I'm a flight attendant.
Yeah,
like,
I want to hear what she wants to do with her life, not just, like, making the house nicer.
Joseph Boza says, well, if you look at Lauren's situation, she was forced to be happy when she watched back the show and realized Ben told her and Jojo that he loved both of them. So now she's kind of in this position where she's like, well, crap.
Yeah. I think that it probably was so blindsiding, too, because she thought that it was only her that he loved. And so to be on such a high and kind of almost maybe feel like, not that your heart was broken, but like she said, like it was like a punch to the gut.
Yeah.
And it's something that you are totally blindsided by because you think you're the one and only. And then to feel like maybe you're kind of getting kicked out a little, that's gotta be like crushing. And to kind of go from such a high and then kind of build yourself back up. I think she's trying to like not build trust in a way, but maybe like...
Part of me was like, I wish that she could just be some ballsy girl that's just like, oh, I know that I'm hot and amazing, and, you know, I don't need to worry about anyone else because I know that you're obsessed with me and you love me. But that's not, like, the everyday average woman. I think any of us in her position would feel insecure.
Yeah,
Totally,
I agree.
Totally. I would be too.
Yeah, like that's something that you just can't wrap your head around. So I could imagine why it would take a lot of building to get to a good point again. And yeah, being around the girl that he also told I love you to, and to hear kind of the whole like, oh, well, I could picture myself with you, but like I didn't, like he basically was saying that I couldn't see myself without you, but he also saw some sort of a life with Jojo as well. So that's what's kind of confusing. It's just...
Yeah, I don't buy his reasoning for that. To me, that sounds so not true. Like, okay, you can... Here's the thing. When you're, like, goo-goo gaga over someone, and you're like, oh my god, I'm in love with both of you, it's not like you think, I could picture my life without Jojo, though. If you're in love with someone, I think at the time you can't. You know, like maybe he then realized he loved Lauren more, but I feel like that excuse, that doesn't really work for me. So I understand the insecurity because, I mean, I'm sure Lauren didn't really buy it either. She's like, I mean, you could live without Jojo, but you were in love with her, but you're also in love with me. Could you live without me? What was the difference?
I'm sorry, guys. You're on a TV show. You signed up for that. He has to be in love with the final two.
Yeah.
He wasn't supposed to say it.
I know, Ben.
Listen, you guys, I have, you know, like Bachelor, Bachelorette parties every week. We have drinking games. I live tweet. And let me just say that Ben's season, we were all like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
That is against the rules. He's going to be in so much trouble. And, you know, now he is.
Yeah,
yeah, that is very true. He's in a lot of trouble. But I also think that I feel like, I mean, do you guys watch Bachelor in Paradise as well?
Yep.
Yeah, obviously.
So we kind of hear how like being on like Bachelor or Bachelor in Paradise, you kind of are in this like different headspace because it's kind of like, I just feel like maybe it was just the emotions were swept away or, you know, I just feel like that could also lead to how he was feeling. Like, it's just kind of this magical world of, and they even mentioned, you know, oh, we used to be on like helicopters and stuff and now we're grocery shopping. So it's probably a huge adjustment to kind of go from this magical, whimsical lifestyle to back to reality.
Totally. And there, wherever they were, the mansion or in paradise, all you really have to focus on are your relationships. That's all you really need to pay attention to. Aside from that, you're like, oh, I can eat, I can drink, I can tan. It's all about the relationships. Those are the priority. Now it's like a whole bunch of real life stuff
Yeah.
right in front of you.
Yeah, like implanting a toilet into your bathroom.
Yep. Oh,
Well, so if any of you guys, I think some of the people in the chat watch Unreal. Me and Renee do Unreal. And to me, this whole thing would have been so much more fascinating if it was behind like Quinn's eyes.
Oh.
If y'all know what I'm talking about.
Quinn.
So, on Unreal, we get to see the dramatized version of what the producers do to the contestants. And there was a talk at one point on Unreal of a spinoff with, at the end of season 1, I think, they wanted to do a spinoff of the remaining couple. And it's fascinating because I feel like a lot of this was weirdly forced, and what I think would be so much fun to watch and so fascinating would be to see what the producers said to them to make them do X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. That is what I want to see, and it's one of the reasons I love Unreal, but it makes my imagination go wild when I watch these shows.
Yeah.
I
Because you're
always
constantly
wonder-
like, what is forced, what's not.
What
Yeah.
really happened?
Did you really want to go toilet shopping?
No.
Oh, speaking of toilet shopping,
Poopy.
I was just gonna bring that up. She called Ben poopy,
And loves toilets, and I think she's brought up poop one other time.
and she crosses her legs
It was-
while she goes to the bathroom.
It was the headboard. She says a poop brown.
Oh, yeah.
Poop brown. She called him poopy. We went toilet shopping. She tried to install a toilet. She looked into that deep hole in the bathroom. It was.
Which I'm impressed.
I know. I wouldn't have done
I don't
that.
know where I would have started.
I
Like,
know.
I wouldn't have definitely not brought my twin blonde friends there,
Yeah. Haley, Emily, you guys got this.
Haley and Emily, let's do this, guys. But I thought it kind of made me like Lauren a little bit more because I love poop humor. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of my favorites. I'm a stand-up comedian. I have brothers, and my whole life, like, fart poop jokes are what gets me going. So it made me look at her and be like, you want to know what? I think I might get you a little bit. That's funny. It was weird. It was random. I will say that, her calling him poopy. I don't know if I really want to call my fiance poopy.
Yeah, it's not a term of endearment I would use.
The
to my
top of
fiance.
the toilet was pretty brown, but and she'd barely lived there, so.
well, a year makes a difference, just like they talked about. So maybe they
True.
And we
It's
see
true.
in the next episode of preview, Jojo says, "Do you fart in front of Ben?"
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of toilet humor coming. A lot
And
of
I love that. And if you guys follow Jojo and Jordan on Snapchat,
Yep.
they are super weird, hilarious. They're probably just lining up their own reality show right there.
I'd watch that. Yeah. I love they talk about how you find out how like weird these people are after the show. And that's just like a big thing in general on these shows because you're trying to present your best self.
Mm-hmm.
You're on camera, you're on national television. You want to be the best you, whether that be like a gentleman or a lady or whatever. And now in real life, cameras off, you're going to be your goofy, weird self and you spend the rest of your life with this person, so you're going to have to be very authentic. And I love and that's why this show is so interesting. It's like seeing who these people really are.
Yeah.
Even though it's like still on TV, they're getting way more. He's already chosen. The final rose is out. You can't return me now. You know?
Can you?
But talking about roses though, when going back to AFR, we see that Lauren really didn't want to go, and she had so much anxiety about this, and it was just kind of strange that she said she would do it, and then as soon as she's walking out, we see that huge kind of hesitation towards going out there and actually going through with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I could totally understand the anxiety part. I could totally get being afraid, not wanting to do it, whatever. But don't put all the blame on Ben. She did say, I only did this because you had us do this or something like that. Don't place the blame on him. We saw with our eyes. You agreed to it. I felt that was not really fair to push him, to throw him under the bus like that. And then he felt all guilty. And then what do you do in that situation? There's nothing you can do.
Well, okay, I will say this, though. He very quickly, one of the producers or whomever came up and said, "Are you guys ready?" And he didn't even look at her and say, "Can we do this?" He was just like, yeah.
Yeah, he did just jump to it. He didn't even finish their conversation. He could have said, "Can we have a minute?" But that didn't happen.
But here's the other thing. Do you ever have anyone, we don't know Lauren or Ben as well as we think we do, just from TV, but when you have friends that you know very well, and when they're being a certain way, they're being a certain way because of A, B, and C. You know who they are as people. He knows Lauren. So if we're giving Ben the benefit of the doubt because he is just we think a complete gentleman, a really sweet guy. Perhaps he knows Lauren does sometimes gets like this and knows it'll be fine. They need to do this. They made this promise, and they have to follow through. And it's not like the time to kind of have that fit.
Conversation.
Like, that's really inappropriate time to throw a fit. Like, be uncomfortable, but like go through it. You're going to have to go through this. It's not worth fighting about.
I feel so bad now talking about it. Like, for Lauren. No, I do. I get it. I don't know. It's so interesting. I'm so glad that they finally have a show about PostCouple, even though, to me, this was one of possibly the most boring couples. But the boring couples are the ones that make it work. And I think this show is possibly trying to discover the fact that they're not so boring and a little messed up like the rest of us.
Yeah, they're not as perfect as it seems to be. To the point where it's unrealistic when we think that after you tell to them and you love them, you pick one, you ride off into the sunset. Like, that doesn't just get off easy like that. No, like, someone's going to bring up the fact, you said I love you to two women. You're going to have to deal with real life together. And you're getting along so well on this show that's basically just, again, a paradise. You're going on multiple vacations. You don't have responsibilities. So, yeah, this is the real drama that comes after. And I guess that's where the drama kicks in the show.
No, and it is really intriguing to kind of see more in depth, because I feel like for so long we just kind of see this like whimsicalness of like love and just joy and happiness happening. So I'm obviously, we all watch them on Instagram, and it seems so perfect.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to see how this season unfolds. And it's kind of, I feel like, realistic for us single people out there. Like, okay, like, you know, there's gonna be struggles in relationships, and there's going to be like personality flaws that you have to get over and like kind of just like conquer. And I feel like we're kind of gonna hopefully like probably see that. And I feel like this episode, as much as they like kind of they'll have their little bickering moments, but you see that they love each other.
Yeah, totally.
But it's still really hard if they don't know each other that well. And I like that about this, that they're addressing that. Because everyone's like, oh, they pick the winner, and then they're just happily ever after. It is the perfect fit. God just put them together. No, Bachelor producers did that, and they're not God, and it doesn't work perfectly.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cute to see them in the car talk about things that maybe she might have never known, like the dreams about the
gosh,
clowns.
that dream made me laugh so hard. The fact that he was not only a nightmare that involved one clown, it involved a short clown and a tall clown chasing after and trying to kill his family. That killed me. I was laughing so loud that people at AFTERBUZZ were like, you need to tone it down.
He said he had two dreams. It was about clowns, and then there was one about Jesus.
Yeah, there was one about Jesus. Yeah.
So that was a really cute thing to see them kind of open up to each other and just kind of get to know more. I want to see more. I'm excited.
But is it just me, or does Lauren always have this annoyed, semi-pissed off
look on her face?
Well, and she's like, yeah, babe. And it's like, she just seems pissed. And it's like, how did I get into this pissed? And I don't like that. I think when Ben is, doing his stupid stuff and being a bit of an asshole, I don't think he means to be. I think he's being, a little bit stupid. But when Lauren is doing it, I think that I don't know. I feel like she doesn't seem happy and maybe stuck. And I don't like that. I want her to be happy. I want to watch her be happy.
Yeah, I also think, they're both new to this kind of show. Like, I'm sure they're being told things left, right, like, be, like, realistic. Like, you be relatable to people. Like, just be yourself, whatever. And so they're trying to find this middle ground where they can be themselves. They're not going to be, like, perfect like they were on The Bachelor, but they're not going to be, like, 100% like, however, what we do when we're completely alone, it's still a TV show. So maybe it's just awkward for them right now, and hopefully as the season goes on, we'll see them get more comfortable. Maybe that's what this pissed off look is. Perhaps that's why it's a little awkward. Maybe they just need to, like, get into the flow of things.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you bring up a good point with just kind of adjusting and transitioning, and just not even only transitioning with TV shows, they're transitioning into a whole new life.
Yeah.
Lauren gave up what seems to be everything, her job and her life.
But
and
why did she need to give up her job if she's a flight attendant?
Okay, so this is something that I heard. I think I read it in an article somewhere.
Please tell me, because I'm so upset
that
about
she was just getting, it was like she'd be on a flight and people would notice her too much, and so it just kind of made it uncomfortable to work. I can't remember where I read that.
I heard that as well.
That
that
makes sense.
So, like, I think, like, as a flight attendant, since you are on such an enclosed place and if people are, like, taking pictures of you left and right, I can only imagine how uncomfortable that is.
Totally.
So,
But it just sucks, though. I mean, that's what sucks. All she has to do is put in toilet, like, and redecorate the house, and...
But she has her blog.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her start yet. I'm sure as the episodes go on, we'll see her show interest in maybe creating a blog, because I bet they'll like throw in, wow, I like your outfit, maybe you should post about that somewhere, and then eventually she'll be like, I'm gonna have my purpose with the blog.
yeah. Oh, and I think we'll probably see the premiere of it.
Yeah, the party. I
Yeah.
shouldn't throw the party for nothing, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see that. So I think that's probably where the job thing kind of went away. But that's a huge adjustment. It's just like have something that you worked so hard for and have to almost see it.
It's 2016. Like, us ladies, we're working ladies, all of us.
Yeah.
And we don't, I mean, me personally, I don't love to see someone that's just like, oh, I found someone I'm in love with and I'm engaged by job.
Yeah.
That, to me, is not inspiring, and it kind of pisses me off to see someone just give up something and not even explain. I hope they explain what she's doing with her life, because, you know, Ben's in a cubicle, not ideal, but he's in one. So, and I don't like to see this whole stay at home all day. You
Well,
know?
maybe we'll see her find something other than being like a flight attendant that could be her new career. Because obviously, I mean, I can only imagine feeling like you're in like a glass case on an airplane, being a flight attendant. People are like, just taking pictures of you.
Yeah, it's a good point.
So maybe that's something that she's adjusting with too, and that's something maybe that's like lying on her to make her feel a little stressed out. I mean, we can only.
I mean, with the flight attendant thing, I would totally get why she wouldn't want to have that job. I mean, imagining how popular she is now and just how many people know her face, that would be so uncomfortable to be stuck on a plane and like serving people while they're all like, oh my God, but like, what about Jojo? Like, I would hate that.
Yeah.
And then, so she probably quit that job. But I mean, jobs don't just come one after another. She probably left that job and now is trying to figure out what to do. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, she's getting this reality TV deal. Mm-hmm. She wants to do that, but she's not gonna be like, wait, hold on, wait till I like get my career together before I do this, because that's going to be, I mean, this is also now their job, this reality television show. So I think we'll see it develop over time. It's just it's all about timing, and people want things right away. They want this TV show on right away. They don't have time for Lauren to find her next passion.
Yeah.
Unless ABC like gets her a good job. I mean, hello, just do it.
Yeah.
Please.
Sam, we're going to pray on that one. We're going to hope that one comes through.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll see that throughout the season. But should we get into some predictions?
Yes.
Do it.
Alrighty. Renee, you want to go first?
Your
Sure.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I definitely think that next episode, the lunch that they're gonna build it up so much more. They're gonna be like super tense about this lunch. It's gonna be so awkward. They're gonna see each other, and as soon as they see each other and sit down and start talking, they're gonna have so much fun. Be like, that wasn't even awkward. That was like such a good time seeing Jojo and like Jordan, and that's gonna be great. I also think that the wedding will not be called off. I think they're just going to have bumps in the road, as couples do. And I think we'll just experience that with them. It's going to feel very real. And we'll, hopefully maybe see the wedding televised. We'll see.
I know. I mean, I think that they're probably leading us all up to that. To think, and then all of a sudden the season finale, they're getting married.
Right.
But as we know, a lot of Bachelor Nation alums are going to be on this season. And I mean, listen, I love me some Chad, guys.
Sam, you're the only one.
No, I'm not. That is a lie.
Everyone is sick of Chad.
Not me. Anyways, Chad, if you're watching.
He probably loves that.
I know, he's like, yeah. But I think there's going to be a lot of I hope the Bachelor references continue, because I just don't want to see these people's lives without it. I need to get references back to the beginning, and I think that's going to continue, and they're going to continue to have problems. But the Jojo and Jordan thing, I think, you know, Lauren's going to see that Jojo is so in love with Jordan, and she's going to let all that JoJo insecurity, I think, is going to be let go after the next episode.
Those are all great predictions. I agree with all of them. I think that in the next episode, I think we're just gonna, like, over the season, we're gonna see a lot of growing pains, just kind of adjusting to the situation that they have now lived together, and their jobs are different. Everything's different. They're known celebrities almost, you know? So I think we're gonna see a lot of growing pains, and we're gonna see maybe Lauren kind of, I think she's gonna grow past the feelings that she has towards JoJo, just like you guys saw. But I hope that we see the family soon. Like, I want to see the families come together, because I feel like on Instagram we always see them, like, with each other. So maybe we'll see some fun family activities. And yeah, I think those are my predictions. I just think we're gonna see some more difficulties in the next episode.
Sweet.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you subscribe, comment, find us on Twitter. You can find me at Ally Nasta. And where can they find you, Sam?
You guys can find me, Sam Davidson, SamDavidsonEntertainment.com, Twitter, and Instagram at SamD43.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Renee Ariel, on Snapchat at the Renee Ariel, and check out my website, catslipstickla.com. My most recent article was Where Are They Now? The 7 Dates in 7 Days.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week.
Bye!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.